there are not many people who can exist without the income of the other person in the house. So there's not a lot of a man making X dollars, paying for everything, and the woman not doing nothing else for the house or him with her money.
Let's be realistic. When you're talking about going and you're talking about marrying a girl overseas, that girl that's overseas doesn't mind working and paying and not considering you a roommate. She's considering you a partner, she's considering you a husband, and it's vice versa.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused. So you're saying if you bring a woman, let's say from El Salvador, you bring one from El Salvador.
She's gonna work.
Bring her here. But a lot of the women there don't work. They are at home and they take care of the family. That's what they do.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of women that come to America work in America. Don't let this get misconstrued. I don't care what social media has to say. Women that travel from overseas that come to America work in America, and they bust their ass in America. And when they bust their ass in America and they have their spouse, they contribute to the household with their spouse. And nowadays, the American culture is trying to tell men that if a woman is paying half of the rent, that's not your boyfriend, that's your roommate. So the American culture of actually contributing as a partner to the household has now throttled down and become delusional versus somebody out there who already has to do whatever she has to do to take care of the house. They're gonna come over here and do whatever they have to do to take care of the house here because those values are going to exist no matter where they are.
Okay, so I'll give you for an example. Everyone knows I'm from Houston. Houston, we have a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Salvadorians, a lot of Guatemalans, so on and so forth. So these are a lot of the people with whom I grew up, right? And they have a lot of these traditions or traditional characteristics that you talk about.
Yeah.
All of my friends' moms, they stayed home. They took care of the family. They cooked the food. When daddy got up in the morning, she was up making sure he had breakfast. He was ready to go out the door, X, Y, and Z. So everything, they worked, but it was in the house. Yeah. She may have had a little hustle where she was sewing or, making dresses or so on and so forth. But those women were not contributing financially. So I can see why one of their daughters would be like, yo, if you want X, Y, and Z, then I want the lifestyle that my mom had. And my parents weren't, she was like, my parents aren't rich, but dad still did everything. He broke his back to support his family and to have his wife at home.
Let's make this very clear. You're speaking from a position that when you were growing up, and let's just say it was 90s and early 2000s. First of all, at that time, statistics show one job could afford the house then. One job cannot afford a house in 2022, especially depending on where you're living. So
I disagree.
So the market is totally different. The market is nowhere near the same. So when you're talking about today versus then, off rip, the cost, the living expenses to ratio of your working pay is nowhere near the same as it is in 2022. So now, yes, right now, it does take two people to actually realistically afford a home, right? Back then, one decent paying job could afford the home. That did not happen today.
I'll say this, most of my friends' parents were like, not at most, a lot were illegal, so they ain't had no regular job. They was out there hustling.
Regardless,
it wasn't no.
Yo, I drive to the gym, and I have to cut on 21. For people that don't know, I drive to the gym, and on one main road in New Jersey, I watch every single day since the spring really hit, there's 3 to 4, I don't know what ethnicity they are. No, women.
To do like that kind of work?
3 or 4 women trying to sell fruit.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant something else.
Right? So I highly doubt that those women, whatever fruit that they sell, and whatever money that they make, and mind you, I'll be at the gym for 3 hours, so if I leave, I see them at 4 o'clock, I see them at 7 o'clock, I'm like, damn, they still here, they had to be here before 4, right? I highly doubt that those women make whatever money that they make, and they keep it in their pocket, and then they look at their spouse and say, you gotta pay all the bills.
And of course I doubt that. Why would that even?
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. Those people that are doing that, I'm assuming that they're not born here, but I do know that ethnicity is not here, right? So I'm saying that when those women come from out of overseas into America, they're willing to work and contribute in the house. Why, as a man, which, I also believe that, speaking on race, African American women, I've been seeing that they don't want to be independent. They're tired of being independent. And men typically don't want to be independent either. We are very dependent creatures, right? I think both of us are very dependent creatures, men and women. Why would I want to take the burden on having to be responsible for everything, and you're still having the right to exercise all of your options to better yourself, and you're not willing to contribute to the house?
But see, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense. One, it doesn't make sense because it's not possible. The average person cannot have one job or one stream of income and support a house. So that's what I'm saying. For a woman to be like, she's not going to pay anything, it's kind of absurd.
Are we at a place today where women are either independent or submissive, meaning that being independent and being submissive women are typically not possessing both traits?
I think it depends on whether you're with somebody with whom has the characteristics and the skill set so that you can give up some of your independence. That's the thing. There's a lot of this like submission talk. Nobody wants to submit to bullshit. If you have not shown yourself to be a leader as a man, as a woman, or whatever in a household, I'll say as a man, if you have not shown yourself to be a man as a leader in your household, how do you expect anyone to lead you? How do you expect, for someone to follow you? You want a wife to follow you, or your woman or your kids to follow you. What the hell are you leading them to? The toilet bowl? Like, I just don't understand. Like, there's a lot of, and I get a man, I guess I understand a man wanting a wife to be like a helpmate and a partner and so on and so forth. But you have to show yourself worthy, and not even worthy. You have to show that you can actually lead your family unit somewhere.
But you gotta, I don't want to go too far off a topic, and I want to, because this is my new stance, and I want to make sure everybody understands that being a man and being a male are not the same thing.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times it's hard as hell to be a man, right? Just like I believe it's hard as hell to be a woman, right? But to be of such, right, and not just the sex, right, a female or male, that requires
gender.
Or gender, I'm sorry. It requires so much more skill sets, such as leading. So if you have a man that's not leading, that's not a man, that's now a male. I don't even want to say that in the same sentence. That's a male that doesn't know how to lead his household. That's a male that does not know how to contribute to his household or govern or whatever the case may be for that household. But going back to what we were saying, I strongly do agree, right? It is very hard for one person today to do it, but maybe when you say the average people, sometimes I might get caught up in what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe the reality is, two people are still working at home. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm just speaking on what I'm hearing and seeing from the social media standpoint. And when I'm hearing all
But what's posted on social media is typically a farce.
I don't think all of it is. I think right now, especially since 8 at the Table coming out, shout out to 8 at the Table, I feel like we have given a lot of people courage to speak their mind. And I think that we're actually starting to see people for what they really are. That viral video of that woman saying she cannot be with a man that makes $100,000 a year is absolutely absurd to me.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
You don't need to. It's not gonna do anything for you, right? Now, I'm not saying having high standards is a bad thing, but what I'm saying is being realistic is completely gone. It's absent right now. And America and also parts of Europe, by the way. But predominantly America finance is amongst the top reason for divorces here and not anywhere else. So when you think about it, when I'm talking about moral code, now we're talking about money, right? Money's making people either see you as less or see you as more here than it is everywhere else. And this is why we have so many divorces and failed relationships in comparison to the rest of the world.
I think it depends on what your marriage is based on. Because if you married for love and for feelings and that type of thing, then money, I don't understand how money could even break you up. But if you married because it's about consolidation of resources, it's about building, having better and more, you know, like we're gonna bring our 2 nickels to the table and we're gonna get 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna figure out how to make these 2 nickels into 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking at it from that perspective, or if you're just happy and in love and being, you know, just living a broke life possibly, or just a regular life, you can't go on multiple vacations a year. You can't drive a nice car. You can't, you know, you can't do a lot of things, but you're in love. You know what I mean? So if money is an issue there, I don't see why you would break up because the love is there, right? But if it's about building and wealth consolidation, then I can see how money would be an issue.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. First and foremost, now we're going to be realistic. Majority of the times when people are getting married, right, if we're going to go with this building situation, it's one-sided. Majority of the times. In America,
I feel like but people be getting married because of love.
No.
That's what people be saying?
No. I'm saying if we want to eliminate that for a second.
Okay.
If we talk about the people who do believe in business, we're marrying for building a business, building wealth, right? It's usually one-sided. Unless we're talking about celebrities. I'm not talking about celebrities, right? But you have somebody, for example, Jeff Bezos' wife, who's a billionaire.
Wait, but we're not talking about those kind of, we're talking about average people.
No. I'm talking, average people are not marrying for business. People who spend $50,000 or more on their marriage has the highest divorce rate. And the people that have the lowest divorce rate spend $10,000 or less on their marriage. Right? So when we think about it, the people who are marrying to build, so those are people typically who are probably having $50,000 or more high expensive weddings, right? They're failing at a higher rate than the people who are marrying to probably build for real, which is I love you, you love me, let's build together. Not what can you do? What can I do? Okay, cool, we match. Let's try to climb the totem pole. But then what typically happens is if things fall apart, they fall apart. If one person gets too far ahead, one person gets jealous and they go this way. If one person's working too much or too hard, then the other person's feel neglected.
But why would that be the case if the whole point of I won't say the whole point, people, when I say that, people always say, oh, it's only about money. No, it's not only about money. It's about compatibility and complementary.
Building with somebody you love?
No.
Somebody that at minimum that you enjoy. Because you're not going to always love them. You're not going to always like them. But if you can still find some benefit and enjoyment with them, I don't care if it's sitting around smoking a black on the porch, because that's what y'all just can get down on. Everything else sucks. You know what I'm saying? If there's still things that you can align on, then I think that's what is more feasible.
I think that it's not about, women are not marrying rich men because they enjoy rich men. They're marrying rich men because they can tolerate a rich man and the experience that they bring them, they enjoy. That's what I believe, personally.
I don't have any facts to back it up, so I don't know.
Yeah. When they said that they would rather cry in a Rolls Royce than a rave, you're still crying. You're actually foolish because you're still upset, you're still heartbroken, and the nonsense is still happening, but you're just in something that is deemed as more valuable.